Is this the button? You're getting it.
I missed it. I missed it. I had a perfect shot. I missed it.
Who presents this woman to be joined at this man, mother, and I. First and foremost, on behalf of Chad and Alyssa, I'd like to thank you all for joining us today to share in one of the most solemn and meaningful events of their lives. I'm convinced that the marriage of two children of God is viewed by the Lord as an occasion of great joy because it marks the beginning of a relationship and the start of a future that is second only to our personal relationship with Him. If everyone would bow their heads in prayer, we're going to seek His blessing on this marriage and ceremony. Dear God, we just thank you so much for this day. We thank you for the beautiful weather. We thank you for Chad and Alyssa, most importantly. God, we thank you that we could just come here to enjoy this amazing ceremony of two people coming together. Lord, I just pray that you would put your blessing all over this ceremony and that we would have a great rest of the night. In your Son's name we pray. Amen. Be seated. So I asked Chad and Alyssa to write down their impression of what true love is. And as you can imagine, Alyssa did a great job. But Chad did pretty well too. Alyssa used words like sacrificial, powerful, and blessing. She said something that echoes God's love for us when she said, love is the only word to describe what we've both been through together. Chad, like I said, did well as well. He used terms such as commitment, faithfulness, and compassion. He made one statement that was extremely deep and profound when he said, love is like heaven, but it can hurt like hell. No, I'm kidding. I added that last part in. It's the combination of their definitions that I want to share with you all today. I believe 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 through 8 tells us a story of what their love will look like. Paul says, love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. Listen to Paul's words in verse 4 when he says love is patient and love is kind. These are two sides to the same coin. True love is not grudgingly enduring something or someone out of necessity. It is kindness expressed through patience. Sometimes you'll be stressed out. Sometimes you'll be frustrated. But remember, love is patient and love is kind. Sometimes life will come at you with its teeth bared and you will reach the end of your rope. Or maybe your spouse will say something foolish or hurtful. But remember, love is patient and love is kind. Next, Paul tells us that love is not jealous or boastful. Sometimes you may feel like you're the best part of your relationship, or that you are the one working harder and making it work. In those cases, you may be tempted to think you deserve more than your spouse. You may get resentful, or you may start to get jealous of others' relationships. But there is a better way. Be proud of each other, build each other up, and learn to praise the unique gifts of each other. Paul's next advice is to avoid arrogance and rudeness. Paul knew that sometimes we treat those we love with less courtesy than we would a complete stranger. We may take our spouses for granted. Occasionally, we may be rude to them in private, or even worse, we may be rude to them in public. But Chad and Alyssa, there's a better way. Look at your spouse as an invaluable gift from God, and treat them like the treasure that they are. Of all the ideals that Paul holds up before us, this next one may be the hardest. Love does not insist on its own way. Now, Chad and Alyssa, call me crazy, but I'm going to assume that there have been times in your relationship when one, or maybe even both of you, have insisted on having your own way. This type of behavior is present in most relationships, but the problem is that it's not helpful. Marriage is intended to be a journey filled with sacrifice and care. I urge you guys, do not meet halfway. Determined to go the distance. If both of you go 50%, you'll both be standing alone. However, if you each decide to go 100%, I can guarantee you guys that you will never be standing alone when it's all said and done. Paul also tells us that love is not irritable or resentful. Most of us fail to live out this quality of love. Rather than being pleasant, we sometimes can turn into being rude or hurtful individuals. Rather than politely answering a simple question of a spouse, we may become argumentative or defensive. But there is a better way. We must avoid making excuses for our behavior and simply admit when we are wrong. Sorry is a powerful word when it comes from a sincere heart. Paul goes on to say that love does not rejoice in wrong, but rejoices in truth. Chad and Alyssa, this basically means that it is always right to do right. You should care about the welfare of those around you. You should celebrate when life is victorious, when love wins out over hate, and when forgiveness wins out over resentment. Paul closes his description of love with these words: love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. In other words, love never gives up.